In the heart of Central America, there's a country that's been rewriting its own story. A country once plagued by violence, terror, and an unrelenting gang crisis. But today, El Salvador is on the rise, having taken a stand that's both controversial and incredibly bold. How did El Salvador destroy their brutal gangs? And what can the world learn from this transformative journey? Let's dive into the gripping tale of how El Salvador took on the infamous MS-13 and Barrio 18, two of the deadliest gangs in the world. For decades, El Salvador had been stuck in a vicious cycle of gang violence. MS-13, or La Mara Salvatrucha, was born in the 1980s in Los Angeles, but it quickly spread back to Central America, wreaking havoc on the streets. It wasn't just petty crime. These gangs controlled neighborhoods, extorted businesses, and killed anyone who dared to challenge them. The government was overwhelmed, the police were outmanned, and innocent citizens lived in constant fear. But all of that changed in 2022. The new president, Nayib Bukele, had a bold, unorthodox approach. He declared war on the gangs, vowing to rid the country of their reign of terror. What followed next would shock the world. On March 27, 2022, after a spike in homicides, the government declared a state of emergency. And with lightning speed, they implemented a massive crackdown. But this wasn't just any ordinary anti-gang strategy. This was a full-scale, all-out assault on the very core of gang activity. Armed with a gang-free mentality, the government launched Operation Territorial Control, a coordinated effort between the military, police, and specialized task forces. Thousands of soldiers flooded the streets, and within the first few days, over 7,000 suspected gang members were arrested. The authorities didn't hesitate. They went after leaders, recruiters, and anyone involved in the criminal ecosystem. But it wasn't just arrests. It was intelligence, surveillance, and an all-encompassing strategy that went straight to the heart of gang power. One of the most radical moves was the creation of a special prison for gang leaders. Known as the Terrorist Containment Center, this high-security facility housed the most dangerous criminals. But it wasn't just about locking them up. The government imposed a strict policy: no communication between gang members, limited visits, and complete isolation. The gang's ability to coordinate attacks from inside the prison walls came to a grinding halt. But that's not all. Bukele's administration has taken bold steps to overhaul the entire criminal justice system, expanding its police force, digitizing law enforcement, and even offering amnesty programs to former gang members who want to leave their criminal past behind. And for the first time in years, Salvadorans began to breathe a little easier. Homicide rates plummeted. In 2022 alone, the murder rate dropped by more than 60%, an unprecedented decrease that garnered international attention. But the story isn't as simple as it seems. Critics argue that the methods used by Bukele's government are draconian, with reports of human rights abuses, overcrowded prisons, and a crackdown on civil liberties. Some have even called the measures authoritarian. But the results speak for themselves. What El Salvador has done is nothing short of historic. The nation went from one of the most violent places on earth to a place where peace is finally starting to take hold. And while the debate continues, one thing is clear. El Salvador's fight against gangs has changed the course of its future. So, as El Salvador continues to rebuild, the world is watching. Could their bold actions be a model for other countries facing similar gang violence? Only time will tell, but one thing is certain. El Salvador's transformation is a story of resilience, determination, and the power of a government that's willing to fight for its people. If you found this story as incredible as we did, hit that like button, subscribe, and let us know your thoughts. What do you think about El Salvador's war on gangs? Could this approach work in other countries? Share your thoughts in the comments below.